Welcome to a 1v1 on Gleize Breakout. This game is going to be VonKalderts versus Ironwar. VonKalderts playing as Mechanized Assault Oster in the south, and Ironwar playing as U.S. forces in the north. So, should probably be pretty even as far as the matchup goes. This map tends to favor U.S. forces, but Mechanized Assault can do a little bit better early on in urban maps. Should hopefully be able to make Assault Grenadiers work. Gonna throw Pryos left, Assault Grenadiers going left as well. And rear echelon troops are making their way. They're actually going to cap this point and then rotate back to back cap over here, while Riflemen, I think, make their way towards the fuel point. So Ironwar is going to go with a more balanced capping order, going for both. Just going for strategic points initially rather than straight for the fuel. Which there's not necessarily anything wrong with doing that either. It's going to slow down, obviously, to capture the fuel point and potentially slow down his ability to rush an M20, maybe. I mean, Riflemen are going to get it, though. It's kind of an interesting capping order. Piles are a little slow to keep moving, but on their way. Assault Grenadiers are going to grab the fuel over here, so their first engagement might actually happen kind of in the open because of his decision to send them left. Not sure that's going to work that well. Of course, there's always the option of sprint, but you don't necessarily want to have to use that ability. And with rear echelon troops and Riflemen over here, the Assault Grenadiers may have trouble closing the distance. Good to see Assault Grens into MG42 actually for VonKalderts. And an MG can be sort of difficult to make work on this map over the course of the game, but in the very early game, it's pretty solid because you can just throw it in a building and there's not really much U.S. forces can do about it until later when they get grenades. Ironwar runs past the Assault Grenadier squad right there. I think he's trying to just make it immediately to the green cover position right there. He decides to come back. It looks like he's a little ambivalent. He's not sure what he wants to do, and his ambivalence is going to cost him this engagement. He's taking heavy damage from those Assault Grenadiers, and he was definitely going to have to retreat now. That engagement is lost. Rear echelon troops also forced to retreat over here in the north, so that pretty much shut him down on this half of the map, and the fuel and munitions will definitely be in VonKalderts' control. Riflemen need to start actually standing in the capture circle over here on the right side as well to get that munitions captured. Pretty rough start for Ironwar, who has picked Airborne apparently. Airborne's pretty solid on this map. I think Airborne's good on any map. Really good on urban maps though, where Thompsons can really shine. And Pathfinders are nice to throw in buildings too and snipe random infantry. So
frag grenades now available for action.
Riflemen engaging against Assault Grenadiers right here. There's the early grenade research, by the way. Nice. Opponent was not expecting that, and he picks up that wipe. Assault Grenadiers will go down. I'll retreat the squad back into the base after that pickup for reinforcement and healing. There's a pretty decent chance your opponent will not be expecting a 3-minute grenade, by the way. That can be very sneaky. Most people are not mentally geared for grenades yet at that point. Late retreat on those piles. What's he waiting for? He almost got wipes too. Fortunately, they could get away. VonKalderts is going to find, apparently, Assault Grenadiers sufficiently valuable that they're worth replacing. He's going to send them up to the front line again. New squad on the field. MG42 has jumped into the building, and now the Riflemen have access to grenades. They will have some tool against units in buildings, but ooh. That was not worth it. There's really no reason to throw a frag grenade into a building if there's no support or flank or something coming on the way. It'll do like a little damage, but it's not gonna... Unless the building is extremely low. Man, these unmonitored rifle squads. Late retreat on the grenade squad right there. Wasn't expecting that much firepower in the middle. Monitoring something else, I guess. And 2 squads of riflemen have now been wiped, which is going to make the rest of this game extremely difficult. I think that's 2. Is that 2 in total, or did he lose another unit? Yeah, okay, 2 in total. Considering, since he's already wiped an Assault Grenadier squad, he's not horribly behind, but pretty behind. Beat up a lieutenant just now, which is a little on the late side because of his early grenade research. He's gonna have to, he's probably gonna have to be very careful with the squads he has left. He knows there's a machine gun in this building. It looks like he's gonna go in for another grenade, which I don't think that's gonna wipe that. It might if the building collapses, but these buildings are pretty sturdy, so I would be surprised if that happened. Retreats from the engagement on the right side. Rifle grenade coming in. Frag grenade into the building. Almost. Almost, but not quite. Those riflemen will be forced to retreat, and the MG-42 is probably also going to head back to base for reinforcement. Assault Grenadiers don't really do anything. I don't think they're very good at like chasing retreating squads for whatever reason. I mean, most short-range infantry are, but assault grenadiers don't really seem to have the same wipe potential. Grenadiers are going to start taking control of the right side of these. Lieutenant is on the field though. Lieutenant and a 50 cal. Lieutenant and a 50 cal. He's got the fuel for a M20. Could try and salvage the game a little bit with an M20. It would be hitting the field late though, and it would also set back his manpower a little bit when his infantry army is already a little on the small side, but it could be good. Maybe against opportunities like this, for example, if you could surprise those grenadiers with an M20, chase them down, wipe them on retreat, start turning the game back in his favor a little bit. There's tier 2 up for the OSR player. He's going to throw some Panzer Grenadiers on the field. Late retreat, by the way, on those Grens. VonKalderts had a great lead with those 2 rifle wipes. There's no reason to throw it away. Grenadiers go down to the lieutenant plus rifleman right here, just standing around in the field for too long. So that's kind of a shame. The remaining 2 squads are going to be forced to retreat, and that should give Ironwar an opportunity to get a little bit of territory back over here on the right side. Rifleman taking control of the munitions, and lieutenant going for the fuel. And paratroopers being dropped. And if he upgrades those with Thompsons, they'll be a very serious threat to pretty much everything. Pretty much everything. That's 3 frag grenades tossed into this building, and the building still has not been destroyed, by the way, which just goes to show how tough the buildings are. 4th grenade, still nothing. Building is close to being destroyed, but those grenades just could not do it.
Cover the approaches.
And the supporting infantry will force these 2 squads back into the base. Paratroopers with 4 men. His expenditure of all those munitions on grenades, by the way, is going to make it tough to get upgrades on these paratroopers. You generally don't want to throw too many grenades. You want to just throw enough to make a meaningful difference, but make sure you save the munitions that you need for upgrades, especially. Generally, the best time to throw a grenade is if it's going to win an engagement for you that you wouldn't have otherwise won, or if it's going to pick up a wipe. Those are the 2 times that throwing a grenade is get really good value out of them. You don't generally want to throw grenades just to do minor manpower bleed to a unit in a house in an engagement that you are just going to lose anyway. Because that's basically just wasted munitions.
Stick with me and you might just make it.
Steady up, men. Ah, nuts. We got orders coming.
What's Delio? What is this a picture of?
Contact! Kraut, infantry!
Okay. Thank you for your picture of birds.
Enemy riflemen!
Rifle grenade on the lieutenant squad right there.
Giving us some trouble
He's
here.
forced to retreat. These grenadiers are going to pull away from this push. Riflemen in the building, paratroopers in the point, and 50 cal set up over here in this area, absorbing a lot of MG fire. I think the building's finally going to collapse, and I think VonKalderts knows that. He finally gets out and just retreats because he knows if he sticks around in this engagement, that roof's going to come down on his head. Panzer Grenadiers wiped rear echelon troops over here on the left side, though. Nice wipe during that big engagement. All attention on that engagement. In all likelihood, neither of them was paying attention to the left side fuel point, but Panzer Grenadiers obviously win against rear echelon troops, so they got wiped. Fuel cache going up right here, by the way. Try and boost VonKalderts' fuel income a little bit. He's kind of behind because of his decision to go Battle Phase 2, even though he's mechanized assault. I'm pretty surprised by that. That's 200 manpower to do that, and 55 fuel, so his Stugi is going to be quite late. Ooh, that mortar! He has fielded a mortar. The very first shot it fires. It's quite good. Thompson's upgraded on paratroopers though, and they are absolutely annihilating everything. Wipe those grenadiers so quick before retreating from that flamethrower, which, if I'm being honest, I'm not entirely sure he should have retreated. He was gonna kill that flamethrower squad in like one burst. He would probably have lost against the assault grenadiers though, so I could understand him just wanting to pick up the wipe and retreat with minimal bleed. Only lost 2 models during that, and he should maybe consider getting an ambulance out soon, because the paratroopers won't heal on their own until Vet 2, I'm pretty sure, so. Riflemen in the church. Both points on the right side have been decapped, but Riflemen are just going to defend the VP for now. The clock is not really moved that much at all, honestly. 12 minutes in, both players still have more than 400 points. Mortar is probably going to force the 50 cal from this building eventually. It's taking pretty serious damage.
We've captured it.
Hi, Barton. How are you?
Machine gun squad.
Assault grenadiers were trying to set up an ambush right there, I guess, behind that wall, but when they saw what was coming, they immediately retreated and got wiped anyway. Thompson's working with riflemen on that mortar, will force that retreat. VonKalderts is now down to just 4 squads remaining. He does, however, have access to the Stugi, which would probably shut down pretty much everything Ironwar has right here. He has no anti-tank. He has gone airborne though, so we can get an AT gun that way. He's gonna deploy a smoke grenade with these riflemen right here, and try and cover his retreat back up into the center. That rifle squad is apparently gonna retreat though, away from the flamethrower that's on its way. So pretty good engagement regardless. Only 4 squads left for VonKalderts right now. Ironwar, on the other hand, just fielded a fresh squad of paratroopers, which is going to send down the left side, try and get some of that territory under control. Lieutenant finds an opening against a machine gun clumped in yellow cover. That could very definitely be a wipe right there. Almost. Lieutenant will be forced to retreat from this flamethrower, though. The last remnants of VonKalderts' army working on the left side munitions point right here. I don't understand why he's gone mechanized assault if he's not going to field any of its features to try and help him when he's in need. Apparently he's just going to go tier 3, and the structure's in progress. He hasn't completed it yet. Pios had to support with the flamethrower. He wasn't able to finish building. He's retreating now. Should be able to get it built. And once it finally is done, he will be able to get a Panzer IV. Maybe turn this game around. Meanwhile, Ironwar up to 100 fuel.
Our opponents are seizing a sector.
Already has a major on the field, so Sherman's going to be coming out, and the possibility of a Stugi having a dramatic impact is pretty much over once the Sherman comes out.
Paratroopers ready for action. Under
There goes that squad. Paratroopers will win, even against Panzer Grenadiers that took pretty heavy damage, but 5 of the 6 models are still alive, so they forced that retreat and start advancing down the left side to get control of the fuel. These 3 squads moving to take control of the munitions right there.
Freezing here. Under infantry attack.
Grenade toss on the mortar will clear it again. This is more manpower. Was that crewed by Panzer Grenadiers? I think so. Which cost 42 to reinforce, by the way, so you want to try to avoid crewing team weapons with them if at all possible. Where is the tank? He still hasn't finished building the structure. I don't understand what VonKalderts is doing. Another grenade will clear the MG-42 right there. Panzer Grenadiers storming out of the base to try and pick up a wipe. Will wipe the Thompson paratroopers in return, though, so that's something. Bit of a late retreat there by Ironwar. Slowly backcapping the rest of the map. He's also set up a retreat point right here in the road by this ambulance. He's going to field himself a fresh squad of paratroopers. He himself is a little bit late to get a tank out, by the way. He should probably have gotten a tank instead of that paratrooper squad against an opponent who has no AT at all, and whose build decisions have completely stopped making any sense whatsoever. With a half-constructed Tier 3 in the base, and 150 fuel, but no tank, no mechanized assault call-ins of any kind.
Pioneers ready for assignment.
Paratroopers will spot a fuel cache right there.
Change of plans.
Could blow it up. With the demo charge,
Looks like we're going
he's going to exhaust all of his munitions instead on Thompson's as he continues to take control of most of the map.
Green as green can be.
Reinforcing and healing by the ambulance as well.
Shit and follow me.
One squad of riflemen in the base needs to get that
Enemy forces now has 300
back to the battlefield. Paratroopers are just going to charge the base again. One of them just got wiped crewing that mortar.
wiped out.
They're flanking us.
That was definitely not worth it. Paratroopers with 380 manpower and that Oyster mortar is worth
Enemy is flanking.
probably less than that, and probably less useful than a paratrooper squad.
We've got our upgrade.
Panzer Grenadier blob making its way through the middle.
Enemy squad. Keep it coming.
Trying to take on a lot. May have bitten off more than they can chew here. Trying to get behind that 50 cal. Oh, that friendly fire from the stolen mortar, though. One Panzer Grenadier squad wiped, though. It just doesn't matter. Panzer Grenadier is going down too quick to Rifleman plus Lieutenant. These 2 squads heavily wounded, but have taken almost no manpower bleed. Just one model from the Lieutenant. And that push will completely fail. Oh, he finally finished his Tier 3, and he is building himself a Panzer IV. Again, Ironwar doesn't really have any anti-tank at all. And 18 minutes is really late to not be having anything that can kill a Panzer IV. But a Sherman's in production. Panzer IV would generally win in Sherman versus Panzer IV, but we'll see what happens.
Squad back at full force.
Boys, you ready to roll out? Paratroopers ready for action.
Ah, nuts. We got orders coming.
Boys, a capture point is under attack. We're on the hook over here!
Rifleman taking control of the munitions point over here on the left side.
Capture complete.
Panzer IV is on the field, making its way up the left as well. Sherman is on its way. Panzer IV makes its entrance against this squad of riflemen, which will try and reposition around the corner. While flamethrower pilots take back control of the left side fuel.
Enemy tank is cutting us up.
The capture point is being overrun.
Achieve penalty level. Catch up. Enemy in
Sherman looks like it will get behind that Panzer IV. It gets stuck. Can't quite phase through it. The Panzer IV definitely, or the Sherman has the advantage right here. Sherman looks like it's going to win this unless the Panzer IV gets a lucky bounce, but the Panzer IV just missed a shot, so that's definitely the engagement one for that Sherman. Light artillery barrage is coming down on these squads, almost wiping the Lieutenant right there. and paratroopers, but they'll both get away to safety. Ambulance is available to heal and reinforce all of that infantry. And the Sherman is at half health and still in excellent condition. VonKalderts now has exhausted a ton of fuel on tier 3 and a Panzer IV for no gain at all. He doesn't really show any signs of being able to pull ahead in the infantry game. Pretty sure that's GG unless something terrible happens for Ironwar, who is off to a pretty rough start with those 2 rifles getting wiped, but paratroopers on this map. Good job of turning things around for him, especially the Thompsons. Unfortunately, the other Thompson squad's been wiped, so we can't see what their kills looked like. But I'm pretty sure that they wiped at least 2 squads that I can remember.
A capture point is being overrun.
Flamethrower has us pegged! Get ready!
P-47 air support now available.
Riflemen taking damage right there. Grenade toss to try and turn the engagement. Panzer Grenadiers will dodge. These 2 squads, I think, can beat a squad of riflemen, probably. Although the flamethrower should stop moving and fire. The fact that he just did that might cost him this engagement. It's going to be close. No grenade toss on either side. Panzer Grenadiers pull ahead and they will definitely take it. And especially with the lieutenant moving up from the right side, and then the Panzer Grenadiers are forced to retreat and return. Should definitely move to try and set up a triple cap now. 300 victory point lead. This looks like this is pretty much the time to seal the game. Also, Sherman has been off the field for way too long, sitting in the base repairing for the last several minutes, I think. Hasn't done anything since taking out that Panzer IV. Should get that back on the field and use it to apply further pressure to his opponent. He could probably just dive the base with it. That'd probably be the game if he did.
Tank support is here. Sherman ready. Rounds complete.
Locked and loaded!
Send your orders.
Second Sherman on the field now, and they're both going to make their way down the left side to potentially seal the game. Triple cap has been set up over here by the lieutenant. A fresh mortar has been fielded as well right there, in addition to the one that got stolen initially. Shermans both move up to engage against the mortar. I don't know if there's really any reason to have armor-piercing rounds equipped on these Shermans, by the way. Just go AG. There might be a tank coming, but the vast majority of these Shermans' targets are going to be infantry. A Panzer IV is in production. But it doesn't look like it's going to get here in time to make some sort of miracle recovery.
They have only 75 points remaining.
Infantry! Someone block the flank!
We're losing a capture point. Under attack!
AT gun destroyed by Sherman fire right there. This Sherman should probably try and pull back to safety. It gets one lucky bounce. I don't know if it's going to get lucky twice. Then again, it may not even matter. Bad turret rotation for the Panzer IV is going to delay the next shot. Panzer Shrek upgrade, however, on the Panzer Grenadiers right there helps take out that Sherman. Sherman just wasted a shot on the tier 3 right there, which is going to slow down its ability to kill the Panzer IV. Now it's falling low. Lucky main gun destroyed crit. That Sherman might now be in danger. Trying to push the Panzer Shrek models around. Just gotta bounce. If he can just keep pushing the Panzer Shrek models around, he should be able to pick up this tank. There it is. Panzer IV destroyed. And now he should be able to get that thing to safety as long as it doesn't take any further Panzer Shrek fire. Which I think he's clear. Yes, he will get away to safety. Meanwhile, while all of this is happening, he's triple capped his opponent, only 24 points remaining, so that's definitely GG. Pretty rough start for the American player, I think. Slightly fewer grenades and more upgrades earlier on could have made things easier, and obviously slightly tighter rifle micro in the beginning, try to avoid those early wipes. Would definitely help seal the game earlier, and from VonKalderts, I can't even begin to understand what the strategy was. So I'm not really sure how to comment on it. Half constructed tier 3. It's weird already even to go tier 3 when you've gone mechanized assault, and he didn't use any of his doctrinal features except for assault grenadiers. And of course he could have tightened his micro up a little bit as well, losing the assault grenadier squad initially to that grenade and so on. So GG, allies win.